Welcome to the Saturday Slam and Jam here on the Athletic NBA Daily, presented by eBay. On today's show, we're discussing our good, bad, and what's of the week. And Will Guillory stops by to talk about the Rockets. And then we finish with some trivia. But before we get to all of that, Alex, tell me what happened in the NBA this week.
Andrew, the top story this week was Austin Reaves, who took the league by storm after Luka was ruled out for the week's games with a finger sprain and a leg bruise. Reaves started his Luka-less week by putting up 51, 11, and 9 in a win over the Kings in Sacramento. Reaves took 22 free throws in the game, which was a career high. That was actually the first of two 50-point games this week. Lauri Markkanen also had 51 in a win over the Suns. The night after Reaves scored 51 against the Kings, it was a back-to-back. At home, he scores 41 in a loss to the Blazers. Then 2 nights later, against Minnesota, who are dealing with an extended injury absence of their own with Anthony Edwards, Reaves had 28 and 16, including a game-winning floater as time expired. Now, while Reaves was clearly able to step up to the challenge this week, it would be nice to have Luka back, who is questionable as of right now for Friday night's game. So we are a week and a half into the season, and 4 undefeated teams remain. Let's go through them. First, the least surprising one, the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are 6-0, despite not having Jalen Williams, J-Dub, and while missing key contributors nightly, but they have taken advantage of a mostly cake schedule to start the season, and SGA once again is leading the way, averaging over 34 points per game. Joining OKC at the top of the West standings are the San Antonio Spurs, who are 5-0 for the first time in franchise history. What? How's that possible?
That doesn't make sense.
And they're doing it all without De'Aaron Fox. Now, like the Thunder, the Spurs have taken advantage of a cake schedule, but they did get a nice win this week against Miami at home, closing the game out late in the fourth after letting the Heat come back from down 15. The Spurs start is certainly surprising, but probably not as surprising as our 2 undefeated teams in the East. First, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 4-0 after an overtime win against the Wizards. The Sixers have been led by their dynamic backcourt of Tyrese Maxey and rookie VJ Edgecombe. Maxey is averaging 37.5 points per game, getting to the line 11.5 times per game. VJ continues to play well. He scored 26 in a game this week against Orlando. And as if the Sixers needed any more backcourt firepower, Jared McCain practiced in full Thursday as he recovers from his thumb injury. Finally, the 4th undefeated team is none other than our pick for surprise team this season, the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are also 4-0 as of Friday morning, but they face their biggest test on Halloween night when the Knicks come to town. Modest Buzelis had one of his best games in his career this week, putting up 27-5 with 4 3-pointers in a win over the Kings. I'm just realizing I've mentioned the Kings a lot in reference to big statistical outputs this week. Okay, looking at the surprise team tracker, which you can find at tinyurl.com/surprise team. The Bulls are currently on pace to beat their over-under by 39 games, going 82-0. Get this. To be this year's surprise team, the Bulls only have to be 500 the rest of the way.
Wow.
39-39. We're already there.
I'm feeling so good.
We believe in you, Bulls.
Let's go, Bulls.
Now, at the other end of the spectrum, we should also check in on the all-defeated teams, the teams who have yet to get a 1 in the win column. Now, the Thunder equivalent here, where there's no real surprise, the Brooklyn Nets, they are 0-5. They do have Cam Thomas, who can be entertaining, like when he scored 41 in a game against San Antonio this week. He can also sometimes be not entertaining, like when he scored 9 in the very next game. The Pacers also haven't won a game. They are 0-4. And poor Indiana, they're in rough shape. Now, obviously, we know Halliburton's out. But this week, we learned that Benedict Mathurin is week to week with a foot injury. Obi Toppin's going to miss at least a month with a foot injury of his own.
Yeah.
TJ McConnell, Andrew Nembhard, still day to day. This team doesn't have a lot left, and yet they're still in these games. They lost their last 2 games this week by a combined 6 points. Finally, the New Orleans Pelicans, a team that started 37-year-old DeAndre Jordan at center in a game in the year 2025.
Unreal.
Do you ever think about the fact that if someone had just disconnected Joe Dumars' phone this summer, the Pelicans would currently be holding their own unprotected first and a top 4 protected first from the Pacers, that team I just mentioned, who are 0-3 and have no players? if they had hired an inanimate object as GM this summer, let's say a really nice chair that cannot use a phone, they would be in such a better position for the future. And they could still have Jeremiah Fears in that scenario, who did have his best game of his young career in that previously mentioned DeAndre Jordan game. He went 10 of 15 from the field for 21 points. All right, Andrew, who's going to get their first win of the season first? So I'll tell you who they're playing their next 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
The Pelicans at Clippers, at Thunder, Charlotte at home.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, Philly at home, Minnesota at home, at Indiana. So we're guaranteed one by next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Indiana's got Atlanta at home, the Warriors at home, Milwaukee at home, and then they play Brooklyn. So
Yeah.
who do you think's gonna break out first?
Well, we do know that the Warriors, whenever there is no star on the other end, just refuses to play real basketball. So Indy against the Warriors is a good one. I think Brooklyn against Indy is also a good one.
Yeah.
Those would be my like top 2 picks. The Pelicans just feel like we're gonna lose until Willie Green's fired.
It does feel rough.
So I will say Brooklyn beating the Pacers is our first one out of this group.
And then finally, on a much more serious note, it was announced this week that Thunder's second-year guard, Nikola Topic, was diagnosed with testicular cancer. He'll be undergoing chemotherapy and is expected to make a full recovery. For the younger guys out there, it's good to be aware that half of all new cases of testicular cancer are diagnosed in the 20 to 34 age group. Very curable cancer. It's really easy to do a monthly self-exam, checking for any lumps or any other changes. We wish Topic the best as he goes through treatment and look forward to see him eventually playing his first NBA game. This guy has had incredibly bad luck.
He really has.
He obviously misled his rookie season with an ACL, and now he's going through cancer treatment. He is going to play eventually, and we're excited to see it. So, but just a real bummer how much he's had to go through.
It is. Yeah. Presti talked a lot about his, and Mark Dignall talked a lot about his maturity yesterday when I was around the team and just how he's handling it. And like, I feel for him because not only is he going through this, but like he's in not even the country that he was born in. Like he's not like it's just been a really tough transition. But the Thunder are it's a great organization, a lot of great people around him. So, but yeah, prayers up for Topic.
All right, so Andrew, it is now time to share something good, share something bad, and share something that confused us this week in a segment we like to call Good, Bad, What? Now, Andrew, what is your good this week? We always like to start off on the positive.
Yeah, Austin Reaves has had a ridiculous week. We've heard about the scoring. We've seen the game winner. It's been very fun. But I found these other stats that I was like, this is really good for Austin Reaves. He has the most assists in the NBA as of Friday morning on Halloween day. Has the most assists in the NBA at 50. I was like, that's cool. He also is second in total drives in the NBA with 93, and he's shooting a blistering 70% on shots when he's driving. The only other player in the top 20 in drives that's shooting 70% or above is Giannis. It's Austin Reaves and it's Giannis.
Similar players.
Those are the two. And then my last good Austin Reaves stat that doesn't involve his crazy scoring is that Austin Reaves leads the league in charges taken in the NBA.
Wow.
It's only 3, but he leads the league.
Okay, well, if you hadn't revealed that last part, it would have, I think my wow would have been justified. Now that I know it's 3. Yeah, he's been incredible. And I'm so interested to see what happens next summer. I mean, he is going to get paid. Deserves a lot of money.
Woo!
All right, my good this week is about a player who was originally drafted with the 44th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, sandwiched between Moussa Diabate and Josh Minot. Pretty good run for the second round, middle of the second round.
Not bad.
I'm talking about Ryan Rollins, who coming into last season, his 3rd season in the league, he had appeared in only 25 NBA games. Now, last year he found a role with the Bucks, but he had become a trade throw-in. He's waived by the Wizards. He was originally sent over there in the Jordan Poole for Chris Paul swap with the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up getting waived by the Wizards, picks up picked up by Milwaukee on a two-way, and then last season, he finds this role. He plays 56 games for him, had a really nice run to close the season, 12-3-4 in his final 10. It was a nice surprise, but I'll be honest, Andrew, I wasn't coming in this season with a ton of Ryan Rollins thoughts beyond, hey, seems like a rotation player. That's a really nice find for the Bucks.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't thinking, hey, this guy could be good enough to potentially swing Giannis's future in Milwaukee. And maybe it's too early to say that, but what he's done through the first week and a half of the season is kind of stunning for a guy who averaged 6 points a game in his first chance at regular NBA minutes last season.
Mm-hmm.
And for a team that historically has not been good at drafting, rarely has any young players that really get you excited, this is a massive development for the Bucks. Through 5 games, Ryan Rollins is averaging 18.6 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, 5 assists, to go along with 2.5 steals. And he's doing that on 52, 44, 88 shooting splits.
Yeah.
This week, just this week, he had a 25-point game against the Knicks. But then on Thursday night, he had the best game of his young career. In a game against the Warriors, against Steph, against Jimmy, no Giannis. Giannis was out with an injury. Ryan Rollins was the best player on the court. He scored 32 points on 13 of 21 shooting, 8 assists, 5 made threes. Ryan Rollins dominated the Warriors. And the thing that jumps out to me when you watch him is how he moves. Go watch his highlights against the Warriors. The way he got to the rim early in that game against guys like Draymond, taking Jimmy off the dribble, bumped him, pump fake, up and under, finger roll, pulling up in the mid-range against Al Horford in the clutch. He's got a really good handle, and I'm telling you, he moves like a star. I'm not saying he is a star. It's 5 games, but he moves like one. He takes shots like one. And I just can't remember the last time the Bucks had a young player this exciting. Like AJ Green, nice player.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the normal type of young guy a team like the Bucks might get lucky with.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you find the overlooked shooter. This is something very different. And there's few teams in the league who need an upside young player like this more than the Milwaukee Bucks. So this is just a massive development, I feel like, in the league for Ryan Rollins to suddenly be a very good starter on a good team. Shout out the Bucks. They're 4-1.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my good for this week.
Yeah. I also love the moment that he had. So the Warriors closed it to 2, like down the stretch of the game. And you kind of felt like, okay, the Warriors are finally going to like end this thing. Like they're going to put it together. This team knows how to close games. They've got all these vets. And then Ryan Rollins immediately answers with a step back 3. And it was like, oh, like this is not over. And the Bucks ended up winning. It was a really impressive performance from him. And I hope he can continue because it.
You know, I went back and read the draft night blog from 2022. And I got to say, our guy Sam Vecini looking really good. He was like, I think this guy can be a 3-level scorer, you know, being taken at the 44th pick.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's what he is when you watch him. Like he's scoring all over the court. Very exciting. So Andrew, what is your bad this week?
Listen, the Toronto Raptors had us
so mad at them, Andrew.
They had us completely tricked on night 1 of the NBA. They beat the Hawks, a team that we thought was an East contender, and we're like, wait a minute.
Big win.
Are the Raptors a surprise team? Are the Raptors like really going to do this year? People were saying all kinds of crazy things about the Raptors after they won that game. It completely just flipped our world upside down. We're having all these thoughts about like, what can this like positionless Raptors team do? And since then they've lost 4 in a row to the Bucks, Cavs, Spurs, Rockets. And the thing that's most frustrating about them, and the thing that they talked about so much in the preseason and at training camp, was the defense. Like Darko said before the season started that he doesn't see a weak link on defense for us this year. He said that at media day. He said everything for us starts on the defensive end and we want to dominate that end. Well, they're not. They're 29th in defense according to NBA.com. And this, just like the way that they made this team has got to be a little bit, we're recording this on Halloween, a little bit spooky. Ooh, watch out, Raptors fans, because you go to the Spotrac page. It's not great because like this year, they're obviously locked into this team. Next year, it's pretty much the same team coming back. And you might, if you like Ochai Agbaji, you might have to pay him too. This is a really expensive basketball team. and a lot of guys that are overpaid. And I just don't really know what like the future of the Raptors looks like. They have these guys like I like some of their young guys like Colin Murray Boyles. I like his future. I think Grady Dick is a nice player. Scotty Barnes is obviously a guy that I think has a really bright future in the NBA, but they kind of just muddied up their roster with paying Emmanuel Quickly what they did, bringing in RJ Barrett, bringing in Brandon Ingram, and then like there's expectations when you bring in three players like that and you pay three players like that. And so I just don't really know what the vision is for them. And if it's not a defensive identity, which they clearly have the pieces for, I don't know where this goes. It's still early. They can still put their defense together and, right the ship to a degree. But I just don't quite get the vision of like where the Raptors are going from here.
A Raptors adjacent stat, just because as you're talking, I went to look up their defense on cleaning the glass. So as you mentioned, they are second worst in the league. Defensive rating 121.6 on clean the glass. The worst defensive team in the league is Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Now, I just said that the defensive rating for Toronto was 121.6. The defensive rating for the Brooklyn Nets is 130.
It's bad.
That's a 8.4 gap between the worst and the second worst.
At least it's no mystery as to what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but I feel like they're doing too good. That is wild. Okay, my bad this week is the Kings' offense. You already know their defense is bad. I already brought up some guys who did really well against them this week. How about their offense, and specifically how they're using Domantas Sabonis? Now, the Kings' offense currently ranks 27th in the league per clean the glass, and I get it. Lol Kangs. No one was expecting much from this team this season. This roster's a mess. They're building a 2K team that nobody asked for. But should the offense really be this bad? And because I can't help myself, I've somehow watched 3 Kings games this season. And the thing I can't get over is how they're using Domantas Sabonis. Do they not remember what it used to be like? That 22-23 season, that was only 4 seasons ago. Number 1 offense in the league. And Sabonis was a freaking hub.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were spamming DHOs with him. He was orchestrating so much. And I get that the roster has changed. There's new pieces on. You don't have De'Aaron Fox anymore. But can we not go back to some of that? Like, just to give you an idea of how much things have changed, I'm going to read off his touches per game by season, starting with that 22-23 season. 83.5. Next season, 91.5, third most in the league. Last season, 75.5. And now this season, 68.3. He's getting the same amount of touches per game currently as guys like Mikal Bridges, Quentin Grimes. If you compare his front court touches from a couple seasons ago to now, 54.3 per game versus 36.8 through 4 games this season. Wow. Here's another one, passes per game. A couple seasons ago, 71.3 per game. This season, 52.5. I just don't get what they're doing. Like, if you're not going to play Sabonis in that offensive hub role, you are voluntarily sapping so much of the value he brings to a team. It's not like he's some crazy defender, a rim protector, where it's like you don't really need him on offense. Like, that is what he brings to a team. He's also not like sinking a ton of threes for you. Like, why are they using him this way? I just feel like this season was going to be challenging regardless for the Kings because of that roster construction. But it feels like they're trying to make it even more challenging by not playing to their stars' strengths. So I'm feeling bad about that. On top of everything else with the Kings.
I'm not sure there's a lot to feel good about with the Sacramento Kings today.
Maybe, I mean, Keegan Murray coming back will at least give them an option to have like some normal rotations.
Yeah.
Just some normal lineups.
Yeah.
Honestly, beyond that, I don't have a lot.
Yeah. I don't either.
All right, Andrew.
I've got nothing.
What was your what this week?
My what is I was looking, I always like to look at just I separate out on NBA.com shooting areas and just like to look at like where are the leaders, where's everybody at? And I found some stats that were just plain weird. I was like, what? Okay, 4 guys at the rim that we all kind of expect them to be pretty good at the rim. Zion Williamson, he's 15 of 28 at the rim for 53%. That's pretty bad. but it gets worse. Cooper Flagg, 13 of 26 at the rim so far this season. That's 50%. But it gets worse. Miles Bridges, 3 out of 12 at the rim. That's 45%, but it gets even worse. Karl Anthony Towns, have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
He's 10 of 24 for 41% at the rim so far
Weird.
this season. Very strange. I know Towns is dealing with some injuries, but all guys that should be and will finish better than this. But just like early on in the season, like these are supposed to be the easy buckets for these guys, for all four of them. But none of them are making their shots around the rim right now at a reasonable clip. So I thought that was pretty weird. Pretty weird.
Yeah, and you wonder how much schedules play into that with different guys. We're not going to do it yet, but like in 2 weeks, we're going to revisit some of my predictions I made right before the season, solely based on team schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm letting you know I did incredibly well. And I just like, I really want to just take a moment to say, please look at who these teams are playing, good and bad,
Yeah,
because it skews so much of the early season
it matters
storylines.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah, just spoiler, I predicted that the Sixers were going to be a top 4 seed and everyone was going to be excited about them.
Here we are.
Solely based on their schedule. Okay, Andrew, my what this week is the Heat's new offense. Now, they're currently ranked 9th in offensive rating after the loss to San Antonio Thursday night. I can't remember an offense changing this much from season to season without a significant roster change. The last time the Heat were not a bottom 5 team in pace, so we're not one of the slowest teams in the league, 2018-19. And they were 23rd that season, still very slow. To find a season when the Heat were just top 15 in pace, you have to go all the way back to the 05-06 season. For decades plural, Miami's offense has been as consistently slow as you can be. This season, though, through 5 games, the Heat are playing at the fastest pace in the league.
Yeah.
Fastest. They have basically done away with the pick and roll. They're barely running it. That they have the lowest percentage of their plays in pick and roll by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
They're suddenly a huge transition team. They're getting into transition on 23.4% of their possessions, leads the league, or I think it's second now in the league. 8% jump compared to where they were last season. Now, you did see some of the limitations in that loss to San Antonio. They weren't able to get into transition as often. They only finished with 9 fast break points. The half-court offense really struggled for large stretches of that game. But it was the Spurs defense, and they were without Norm Powell and Tyler Hero, who should help, especially as shot makers at the end of the game when it slows down, which did happen in that Spurs game. But overall, I'm just so much more, first of all, entertained.
Yeah.
But intrigued by this Heat team than I've been in the past. And I'm fascinated to watch how this new offense evolves. It's not like, they're a perfect team. They're 3-2 right now. They've had these 2 blowout wins where the offense just it clicked to an insane degree. And then they've had some games like that Spurs game where it's like, okay, maybe this isn't like this magic elixir and everything is fixed for the offense. But I'm just fascinated to see how this develops because I can't emphasize enough. This is like a complete 180 for this team.
Yeah.
Without really adding like major new pieces other than Norm Powell.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows like how much coaching really does matter in the NBA. Like how you can scheme things. Like you look at like what's going on in Orlando right now, and it's like, is it roster construction issues? Like probably not. Like they should have had something better put together than what we're seeing right now on the offensive end in Orlando. So yeah, coaching matters a lot. And Spo has been consistently one of the best coaches in the history of the league. And he's showing again, like just being innovative, like being willing to kind of change things up, which they needed to. Like you trade Jimmy Butler and you change the complexion of the team, like, yeah, you need to figure something else out. And they have.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Something else that's cool is talking to Will Guillory about the Rockets, and we're going to do that right after this quick break.
All right, Andrew, it is time for the Wheel of Fandom, the weekly segment where we spin a wheel, it lands on a team, and we become fans of that team for the next week. Last week, the wheel landed on the Houston Rockets. Now, the Rockets lost their first game on Friday against the Pistons, but followed that up with two easy ones against the Nets and Raptors, two teams who are a combined 1-9. The wins get the Rockets back to 500 per cleaning the glass. The Rockets have the third ranked offense and the 17th ranked defense. Andrew, if the Rockets are a favorite team, who is our guest?
It's my guy, Will Guillory from The Athletic. Will, what's up, man?
I'm doing well, fellas. How are y'all? How are y'all?
So good.
Oh, so good. So good after watching some Rockets and KD. So we're 4 games into the Kevin Durant experience in Houston. What are your early impressions of his fit with this team on both ends of the court?
Man, it's funny because we already knew there was going to be an adjustment, but there was an adjustment on top of the adjustment with Fred VanVleet getting injured and them
Yeah.
having to figure that whole situation out and knowing that they were basically stuck with this team until December. So like they can want to change it, but they basically don't have a choice because of financial reasons. And I think it's been really impressive the way they've adjusted, the way KD and Sengun have really stepped up their game. I think they're playing well. Now, obviously, like y'all said, the two wins were basically against two opponents that they should have beat. And we saw them on the first night against OKC go through some struggles. But I think the early returns have been pretty good with this group so far.
So I want to ask you about Shingun because he took 8 threes in Houston's first game. And then the 3 games since, he's taken a total of 6 combined, looking more like how he played last year. Has he talked about his approach to shooting threes? Do you think we'll eventually see higher three-point volume from him more regularly?
No, I think that's the goal for sure. He's talked about, it's something he was doing with Turkey and Eurobasket over the summer, wanting to have more of a perimeter oriented game. Know that they're rolling out some of these jumbo lineups with Steven Adams and Clint Capella, so he's going to have to play more on the perimeter. He's going to have to be a floor spacer, especially when teams are forcing the ball away from Kevin Durant. So you see him having some early success with that, and I think maybe even bigger than the 3 point percentage going up. You see his free throw percentage going up, and I think that's a big
Mhm.
story with this team. Alper and Sengun being a better free throw shooter right now. I believe they're number one in free throw attempts this year, and Sengun's a big part of that. He's actually making them this year, where last year they were dead last in free throw percentage, and Sengun played a big part in that as well. So I think just him being more confident with his shot all over the floor and being able to space. I think that's going to be a huge thing for them throughout the season, finding that right space and finding ways just to give KD and Sengun enough freedom to operate within the offense. And I think a big part of that is LP being comfortable taking those shots. I don't know if he's gonna put up 8 like he did against the Thunder all the time, but I think just being comfortable stepping into it and taking it when it is open, I think is gonna be important for him.
Yeah. So after the Van Vliet injury, everyone's attention turned to Reed Shepard, number 3 pick 2 years ago. Reed's minutes have been hovering around 20 minutes per game this week, and it's been an up and down experience so far. What are the areas of his game that need to improve the quickest for him to have like a positive impact more consistently?
I think defensively, I think is the biggest thing. Just keeping guys in front of him. With any young guard, I think that's one of the toughest jobs in this league is dealing with some of the talent at the guard position in the NBA and the way the ball flies around. I mean, some of the scoring numbers have been crazy early this season with the amount of 40-point, 50-point, 60-point games we've been seeing. Guys are just so difficult to defend and stay in front of and keep off of the free throw line. So I think that's the big thing. And we know Ime Udoka is a defensive first coach. So he wants you to be able to hold it down and guard your yard, as a certain coach loves to say. So I think that's the big thing for him. But what I've been, really optimistic about with Reed Shepard is that just the confidence he's playing with on offense. I think you see him just putting up shots, not being scared. There's very little hesitation in his game. He's not shooting it as well as you would hope. But I think that's the most important thing is just him not being a guy who's hesitating out there, who's scared to shoot the ball, who's scared to get involved. I think when you see him from the moment he's stepping on the floor, he's finding ways to get involved, get it to his shots, and not just 3 pointers either. He's getting to the basket, getting up some mid range. So I think he's doing some of the things they want to see on offense, but defensively he's got to be more solid. He's got to keep guys in front of him. Because this is a big starting lineup for the Rockets, but they don't necessarily have a lot of rim protection outside of KD and Clint Capella. So you want to keep guys in front of you. You want to do a better job of guarding the ball, especially when Amen Thompson is off the floor. And I think that's where he needs to improve the most.
What have the conversations about Reed and just his physical limitations been like around the Rockets? Because like, to me, some of this stuff is certainly like he needs more reps. He needs to be in the lineup more. But also, like I don't know how he is going to get himself to like a good enough status defensively with just his size and like speed limitations.
Yeah, we know in today's NBA, teams like to find smaller guards and force switches and make them, defend bigger guys in the post. And I think that's something that Reed's gonna have to deal with basically his entire career. And that goes for all guards who are like 6'2" and under. But we know him coming into the league. He was a guy with really good hands. He knows how to, get quick steals. He'll get a block every now and then. So he knows how to fight against some of that stuff. But it's something, that he's just gonna have to deal with. And I think, one of the benefits of the Rockets playing some of these jumbo lineups is they don't have a guy to target on defense when you're playing Amen at Thompson at the one and you got Jabari Smith at the two. They don't really have to deal with those problems. So I think it stands out even more when Reed Shepard comes in and teams are like, okay, we can finally attack somebody and get some easy shots. But I think he's done a decent job in those situations. Frankly, I think he's had more trouble dealing with the smaller, quicker guys and keeping them out of the paint. I think you saw that a lot in the OKC game where AJ Mitchell was just blowing by him consistently
Yeah.
and getting to the paint. So I think that's where some of the real issues have come with him early on. But I think he's progressing relatively well. Like you said, his minutes have been limited. Some of it has been dictated by if he's not making shots, then email will probably go away from him. They've been playing Josh Okogie a lot more than we expected early on,
Yeah.
just because he's a really solid defender. But he's a young guy still learning, so there's going to be some ups and downs. But I think Ime Udoka has pretty much made it clear that he wants to stay committed to Reed. He wants to give Reed those opportunities to grow and learn because they need his shot making out there. They
Hmm.
need somebody out there who, like we said before, who can space the floor, who can create more driving lanes for KD and Shangun when teams are really trying to box it in around those guys.
Have there been any updates on DFS? I know he's been day to day with an ankle, hasn't played yet. Are they expecting him back pretty soon?
Yeah, well, the last time I was out there in Houston, he was already, getting shots up before practice. He's doing some conditioning stuff. I still don't think he's been clear for contact as of yet. But yeah, you already see him moving around. He's starting to get more acclimated with the team. So I think it's going to be relatively close. And that's like one more big body out there for them. One more guy who can play, who can defend multiple positions, who can shoot threes. So yeah, this team is going to be really interesting when DFS gets into the mix, just because they have so many guys who are around that 6'8", 6'9" range, and just figuring out one how to make sure everybody is in the right spots defensively, but also just getting everybody acclimated offensively and how we're going to space the floor, how we're going to have the right amount of ball handling on the floor to create shots. And that's one of the most interesting things to me early on. Is just Alperen Şengün just out there looking like a big old 6'11" point guard, dribbling the
Yeah.
ball out on the key, running pick and rolls, and it's been working really well. But I'm gonna be interested to see how much teams will try to fight against that to make life more difficult on LP, and how much that'll put pressure on guys like DFS, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason to do more ball handling.
So a lot of people, including me and Andrew, are expecting a big leap from Amen Thompson this season. So far, it's been a little underwhelming, at least compared to where people's sky high expectations were. He
Right.
was great in his last game, put up 18, 9, and 7. What do you feel like needs to happen for Amen to take that next step like so many are expecting?
Yeah, I think for Amen, he's just trying to strike that balance right now between being the quote unquote point guard, being the guy who gets the team in the sets, make sure guys are in the right spots, while also just being the aggressive Amen Thompson that we saw last year. And I think a lot of his success last year was playing in that dunker spot off of Alperen Şengün, and he just can't do that as much if he's the guy handling the ball at the top of the key. So I think just figuring out where he can find those driving lanes, where he can get some easy shots, is some of the struggle he's having right now. But I think it's just him adjusting to his new role and new responsibilities and knowing how much it's important for him to be that guy who can be the release valve for when teams are pressuring KD or pressuring Shangoon. I think he'll be fine. We know he's so dangerous in transition situations, and he plays off of Shangoon so well I think he'll be fine. I think one of the things he's also trying to incorporate is shooting more threes this year, where, that was kind of the, hey, just leave him open type of thing last year. And I think he really wants to fight against that, especially when he's shooting corner threes. He's starting to take those more confidently. But with any guy like him, it's going to take time for him to really start knocking those down consistently. But you see him just being more confident and taking those shots. Even, he'll come down and take a pull-up three if a guy goes under a screen. He'll let it fly. So he's showing more confidence with that shot, and some of that with that comes, maybe your percentage is going down, maybe you're getting less shots in the paint. But I think, Amen, he'll be fine. I feel really good about where he is, and when you see him in the open court with Tyrese and with some of these guys, it just looks extremely dangerous. And then when you throw Kevin Durant in the mix, it just takes it to a different level.
Yeah, I just feel like they've got to get more shooting around him. Like he's just the kind of guy that just demands that, and they just don't really have it. And like, yeah, he's taken threes. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's made one yet. Is that right?
Oh God, I gotta look that up. I don't. Let me.
Yeah, his basketball reference says 0 for
Okay.
2
That's
2
typically a
He
sign that
did?
you haven't made one.
So he did make a shot with his toe on the line in OKC. That was like a step back that did not count, but like technically
a 3.
he's hit a perimeter shot this
There
season.
it is.
Um,
Baby
yeah.
steps. That's what we call that. Baby steps.
Baby steps for him. And like I don't know, we expect a lot out of young guys typically, and it's just going to take time, and it's just harder to develop when like there's just not a lot of like high volume guys on this team anyways. Like there's guys that will take threes, but there's just not a ton of high volume guys. One of those guys that is progressing as a young player is Jabari Smith.
Yes.
I feel like he's had a really nice start to the season. He's their third leading scorer currently at 15.8 points per game. Tell me what you've seen from Jabari and like how that's being received in Houston.
Just confidence. I think you really see. I think Jabari Smith is a great example of a young guy who got that extension coming off of his rookie deal and just feels very comfortable with where he is, the situation he's in, and what the team is asking him to do. He added some muscle in the offseason, which I think is really important for him. Driving the lane, attacking mismatches. You see him a lot. When teams are trying to hide smaller guards of him, he's immediately going down to the post. Attacking them from down low. I think he feels very comfortable in his offensive game right now. You mentioned, them needing more three-pointer shooters. I think he's been one of the more confident three-point shooters for them, especially from the corners. And I think you just see him just feeling very good at being that guy who can play off of KD, off of Sengun when they're kind of playing in swing situations. It feels like Jabari Smith is the guy benefiting from those a lot of times. And I think you just see him understanding situations a lot better. When you, like I said, when teams are trying to hide some of their worst defenders on him, he's immediately attacking. It's not like, hey, Jabari, we need you to go get this shot. He's immediately just going and getting to his shot. So I think he's been a really valuable asset in that way, because teams are really trying their hardest to get the ball away from KD, and KD's really been trying to stress to these guys, hey, y'all got to be aggressive. When I'm bringing two defenders over, it's y'all time to shine. And I think we're seeing more of that with guys that they're feeling more comfortable in those situations. And I think the sky's the limit for Jabari. I think he's been really good so far, and I think he's going to be even better once the three-pointers start going down more consistently. I think he's going to be a great asset for this team, and I think just having him out there as another big body that makes it difficult for teams. I think you talked about having smaller guards and teams having a hard time hiding them. When they put those jumbo lineups out there, I don't know what you do if you have a 6'3" guard. What you do with whether you put him on Amen Thompson, he can bully him and get to the paint. Jabari Smith can go down to the low post. When they're playing big, it really puts teams in a bind. And I think Jabari Smith being able to knock down those jumpers is going to be a big part of them being able to stick to those lineups as much as they want to.
Will, thank you for answering all of our Rockets-related questions, but it is now time to play Andrew versus the Beat, our weekly trivia show where Andrew goes head-to-head against an NBA beat writer. This week, Will Guillory from The Athletic. Now, Will, you're a veteran at this point of Andrew versus the Beat. You've played so many times, so you know how it works. 8 questions, all about the Rockets. Some are easy, some are hard. You'll give me a number between 1 and 8. It will correspond to a question. If you get it right, you'll get at least 2 points. If you get it wrong, Andrew will have a chance to steal for 1. We'll go back and forth until all the questions have been asked and answered. So to start us off, I just need a number between 1 and 8.
As always, we start off with number 7. Shout out to the 7 Ward. Let's go.
Question number 7. Jeff Green has played for 8 NBA franchises. With which franchise did Green have his career high in total dunks for a season?
Ooh, wow. Total
my
dunks.
gosh.
So when did Jeff Green, when was he at his dunking peak? What franchise was he playing with?
I thought you were gonna say when did he have his career high in points, and I believe that was with Boston. So I'm gonna go
I
ahead and
think that's
stick
true.
with Boston and say that's when he had the most dunks.
That is incorrect.
Mm.
Andrew, you have a chance to steal.
I mean, you'd think this would be earlier on in his career, but also you wouldn't ask a question like this if it was. It's kind of my thought.
Okay.
So it's got to be something weird. It's got to be like, I don't know, maybe when he played for Cleveland or something. I don't know, Cleveland.
Cleveland actually was number 2, Andrew.
Wow.
He had his most dunks
Was it Brooklyn?
playing for the Denver Nuggets
Wow. Shout out to
in his
Nikola
like
Jokic.
33-year-old season. or
What?
something. Yeah, I know.
That's the Jokic effect, man.
He
They
had
just
to have
get
been older
easy
than
buckets.
33, I think, too.
Well, maybe 35. I don't know. How old do you want him to be?
I don't know. That is weird, though. I mean, I guess it makes sense with Jokic is just going to find you, but still, what's going on there?
Let's see. That was, he was 35 or 36. It would have been his 35-year-old season. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
That's crazy.
And that's why
Shout
you got
out-
it wrong.
shout
Okay,
out to Uncle
Andrew,
Jeff.
board is yours.
Number 1.
Question number 1. The question that maybe took me the longest to figure out in Slam and Jam history.
History.
History. This is a historical question.
Okay.
This season, Kevin Durant became the 5th active player to score 30-plus points for 5 different NBA franchises. Can you name 2 of the other 4 active players that have done it? 1 point per correct answer.
That have averaged 30 points.
No, not average. Just had a
Scored.
30-point game
Had a 30-point game for
for
5
5 different NBA franchises. There is 4 answers. You just have to name 2 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's
I had
a
to go
tough
through
one.
every team's basketball reference page.
Shaq?
No, he's
Okay,
active.
Andrew, that was one of the worst guesses we've ever had in Slam and Jam history because it is active players. Active.
Oh, active.
But you've always got Shaq on the mind. All right, well, Andrew guessed Shaq, who is not active, and he also didn't do it. Do you have any guesses?
Oh my gosh. This is one of your best ones yet. What's crazy is before you said active, I would have guessed Jamal Crawford. That was one of my first ones. I think that might be wrong too. I'm over here just killing time trying to guess. I really have no idea. Let's go. Jeez, I really can't think of anybody. I don't know. This is wrong. CJ McCollum.
You know what? That's actually a pretty good guess because he did do it for the Blazers, Pelicans, and I think he's done it for the Wizards. Actually, I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, he's been pretty bad with the Wizards.
So maybe not a good guess. I take that back. The names. Now, you guys are going to be like, oh, duh. Chris Paul. Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
Wow.
Russell Westbrook. Jimmy Butler. And
Wow,
now all
5
those guys have
picks?
done it for 5 different franchises. There's only one active player who's done it with 6 NBA franchises. I don't think you would have ever guessed it. Dennis Schroeder.
Oh,
Wow.
that makes sense.
Schroeder. It does
That
make
makes
sense. Okay, so the score is tied 0-0. Will,
Off
you
to
have
a hot
control of the
start.
board.
Let's go with 4.
Question number 4. Kevin Durant is currently averaging over 27 points per game. Who was the last Houston Rocket, other than James Harden, to average 27 points per game over a season? So over an entire season. So the last Rocket other than James Harden to average 27 points per game over a season.
I feel like Hakeem is too easy, and I know in these situations to not go with the easy route with Alex.
Yeah.
One week I should just do all obvious answers and see how people do.
Let's go Steve Francis.
Stevie Franchise. That is incorrect. Andrew.
Wow. 27 is a lot of points.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of points. Like, think about like Kevin Martin. Think about, God, did Yao ever average 27 a game? I don't feel like he did. That's a lot. It's just a lot of points, especially back in like that era where nobody scored a lot of points.
Yeah. Tough question.
I'm just stalling. I guess I'll say T-Mac.
The correct answer is Russell Westbrook. He averaged 27.2 in his lone season with the Rockets.
Really?
Remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
27.
Wow.
Shout out. It kind of is crazy because the year before he averaged 22.9. Then he goes to Houston, averages 27. Then he went to Washington, back at 22.
Yeah. And then gets traded to the Lakers. Ruins the Lakers.
Did not score 27.
Did not do that
Lakers.
then.
Okay, Andrew, board is yours. Score 0-0.
First to one wins.
A defensive struggle.
Playing by golf score today. All right, 2.
Question 2. Steven Adams is currently averaging 10.8 rebounds per game. Who are the last 2 Rockets to average 10-plus rebounds per game for an entire season? You do get 1 point per correct answer.
Wow. The last Rocket to average.
Last two Rockets
to average
10-plus rebounds per game for an entire season.
Golly. Maybe I'm going back too far. What about Omer Osik?
No, that's a crazy answer. It's a crazy answer that you'd even be able to pull that name.
Is that too far back?
Head. Let me see what Omer did.
I feel like he was awesome for them.
I'm very familiar with Omer in New Orleans.
His first season, he did average 11.7 rebounds.
Wow.
So great job, Andrew. It's not right, but at least it made sense for the question. Better than your Shaq answer. Okay. Will, can you name the last 2 Rockets to average?
I'm going to go Clint Capella. Is he one?
Also wrong.
Wow.
The correct answers, Alperen Sengun did it last year, and Christian Wood.
Christian
Wood.
That's wild.
I feel like a lot of us blocked out that year from our memory.
Yeah, that was
Christian Wood Rockets
KPJ year.
Okay.
Wow.
Score 0-0. Will, the board is short. We've never had a game end 0-0. I don't even know what happens.
About to find out.
I'll go number 6.
Question number 6. Well, there are some questions that, like this one, somebody's going to get right. Josh Okogie has been getting regular minutes for the Rockets this season. What is Okogie's career high in points? Now, you get to choose who answers first. You can make Andrew answer first, and then you go higher or lower, or you answer first. Will is already gesturing to Andrew. Do you want Andrew to answer?
Please, Andrew. I'll be a gentleman. The floor is yours.
All right, Andrew. Okogie. So where are you going to set the over-under for Josh Okogie's career high in points?
27 points.
All right. Will, would you like to go higher or lower than 27?
Well, it's funny. I was going to say 26, so I guess I'm going lower.
So, Andrew guessed 27. That is within 1 of the correct answer.
No.
And the answer is 28, which means Andrew
Oh.
gets the point.
Mm.
Andrew is on the board. Wow. Thrilling game. Andrew, the board is yours. 3 questions remain.
The only way we're getting points is by forced points in this one. Someone had to score. Okay, I'll go with number 3.
Question number 3. Kevin, nope. In which of these categories is Houston currently ranked highest according to Cleaning the Glass? Half-court offense, transition offense, half-court defense, transition defense. Which of those categories are they currently ranked highest in the league according to Cleaning the Glass?
Half-court offense.
No. Will, you have a chance to steal for 1.
I'm going to go transition offense.
It is transition offense. I think they're like 6th, maybe.
Was it like 3 possessions? What is it? All right.
No, shut up, Andrew.
It's got to be like none.
They're doing great.
It's got to be like
You're
none.
just mad because you're tied now. 1-1.
I thought
right.
it might be half-court offense because they get so many offensive rebounds, and that's how they score the ball is through offensive rebounds. Does it count? Does that not count?
That I don't. Yeah, because it does split it up into half-court offense and then like putback offense.
Oh,
So that's probably
okay.
where you got screwed.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Memphis was always like that, where their half-court
Definitely.
offense wasn't great, but putback offense was the best in the league.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's how they are surviving right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's called the Steven Adams stat, is what it's called.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
Okay, Will. 2 questions left. 2 questions to get a couple more points.
Let's go 8, please.
Question number 8. Somebody's going to get this one. Kevin Durant scored 37 points against Detroit this week. We're going to name the last 9 Houston Rockets to score at least 37 points in a game. So how this works is Will will give me a name, then Andrew will give me a name. We'll go back and forth to what have you stumbled. So you just have to name one of the last 9 Houston Rockets to score 37 points in a game. So just think of big scores.
I was actually in the building for one of those 37-point
Okay.
games, and so was Andrew Schlecht. It was Alperen Sengun on opening night.
That is true. Alfred Sengun did it most recently. All right, Andrew.
Amin Thompson, did he do it? Is this a bad
Andrew,
guess? That's a
that
bad
was
guess.
An awful. Okay, I thought the Shaq guess was bad. Andrew, they got freaking James Harden.
James Harden
played for this team.
See, now my brain is just not working today, guys. Like now, I'm thinking back. I thought back too far with Omer Osik. I thought too recent with. Okay, never mind.
Dub, no, it's not him. Here's some names you could have said. One, I just told you that Russell Westbrook averaged 27, so he probably did it. Yeah, he did. James Harden. Kevin Porter Jr. had that 50-point triple-double. Remember that?
KPJ, yeah.
Jalen Green. Obviously, he did it. Fred VanVleet. Christian Wood, who I just mentioned.
Why did I guess Amin Thompson?
And then the 2 that I thought it was going to get to, where it was going to be really exciting, Andrew.
Yeah.
Eric Gordon.
Uh-huh.
And then Austin Rivers.
Oh.
Austin Rivers did it.
Weird.
Isn't that wild? All right, well, after that last answer, Andrew, you have fallen into a deep, deep hole. Now down 3-1 with only 1 question remaining. Now, you do get first dibs on this question.
Okay.
But you have to get both points in order to tie this up.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
No. Yes.
Kevin Durant scored 37 points against Detroit this week. Did you know that for Katie's career, his highest scoring average has been against the Detroit Pistons?
No.
His best game against the Pistons came in December 2021 when he scored 51 against Detroit as a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Who were the second and third leading scorers for the Nets that night? Now, as a hint, James Harden sat out this game due to health and safety protocols. So take your do a little mind traveling.
Wait, what year was this?
I'm about to tell you again. December 2021. Second and third leading scorers for the Brooklyn Nets that night. And I gave you a hint, which was that James Harden sat out due to health and safety protocols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't guess him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's a good start.
Thank you.
No Shaq.
Was it Shaq? God, Al. What about LaMarcus Aldridge?
Woo! He's on the board with another point.
Oh
All right,
my
Andrew, if you can get
God.
this last question right, it'll tie the game.
Okay. Cam Thomas.
Oh, Andrew, you are so close. It unfortunately was Patty Mills. And that
Ooh.
means that Andrew has lost. Andrew versus the Beat. Congratulations, Will. Final score 3-2.
I feel like
To-
it's been a long time since I got a win.
To be clear, Will, you didn't win, I lost, said by the game master, okay? Which I will take all of that today. I was horrible today. Something that's not horrible is reading Will Guillory at The Athletic. Go read Will. He's going to have stuff about the Houston Rockets, also the New Orleans Pelicans. Will, anything that we should be watching out for?
Yeah, more Houston Rockets and less New Orleans Pelicans. If I have anything to say about it, the Rockets are really interesting. The Pelicans, not so much.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to covering more Rockets this year, and picking up them, as my primary team eventually. So it's gonna be a lot of fun this year.
Okay, go check out Will. Will, thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, Andrew, that was Rockets Week. Houston Rockets Week on Wheel of Fandom. But it's now time, once again, to spin the Wheel of Fandom and choose a new team that we'll become fans of for the next week. 29 teams remain. It could be any of them. Let's spin the wheel and see who we get. So the Wheel of Fandom team for this week will be...
The
Brooklyn Nets.
Listen, we get the Nets out of the way. We get them out of the way. Listen, it would be. I think this is best case scenario for the Brooklyn Nets at this point because it's at least still fresh. We're at least still fresh, but they are unequivocally the least interesting team in the NBA right now.
I don't know. Is that true?
Who's less interesting than the Nets? Can you name somebody that you're like
I mean, honestly, the Pacers right now, just because there's just
due
no
to injury.
one.
Okay,
Due to injury.
That's fair.
Okay, all right. So we're making progress.
We got one team. You got another one?
No.
I mean, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, at least there's tons of rookies to watch with Brooklyn Nets. Cam Thomas. All right, I don't need to name off all the guys on the team. You know who they are. All right, they're playing the Sixers this week. Okay, it's fun.
Yeah, that's at least
DJ. Maybe Jared McCain will be back. Then they play the Wolves on Peacock on Monday.
Peacock.
Yeah, and then now this is exciting. Next Wednesday, as I mentioned, at the Indiana Pacers. So if they do lose the next two games,
because we mentioned it earlier. Yeah,
we'll get to see who gets in the win column first, assuming they lose these next two, which maybe they won't.
Wow, I feel like we should get on a live stream for that one.
Oh yeah, got to.
Oh man, something that you should do is leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. I'll read it on the show. So next week we'll start reading those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you mention Slam and Jam, and we will read it on the show. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and we will talk to you guys again next week.